Sonic Software Planning.
So Shining the Holy Ark is actually developed by Camelot. It was, they weren't called Camelot back then, they were, as you saw, Sonic Software Planning, but they eventually did become Camelot Software, and you can tell by just the way the game is developed and the graphics and what have you, especially the sound effects. Anyways, what happens in Shining the Holy Ark is essentially these three mercenaries are sent out to find this guy, Rhodey, okay? And as soon as you find him, he obviously doesn't want to go back to town with you, so he attacks you. After you finish him off, that's where things get a little bizarre. Basically, your friend here, Forte, or Fort, depends on how you pronounce it, he gets possessed by some sort of an alien, and then you, Rhodey, and Melody also get possessed by good spirits who are trying to go and rescue your friend. Now obviously Rhodey, he sort of becomes the JRPG stereotype in the sense that he doesn't know who he is or what's going on, and that sort of develops as the game goes along. So check this out. Let's listen for a few seconds. The awkward silence. Anyways, basic stuff, okay, in the sense of how the commands work. You can see right now Melody's just casting a little heal spell, because I actually finish Rhodey off, baby. I'm just so amazing. But for back when this game was released, this is actually extremely impressive stuff. See, here we go, and then it's going to fade out into the lovely little scene I was telling you about earlier, but I'm not going to show that because it's ridiculously long. So here we have a little bit of town progression. Just wanted to give you a little feel for how this actually works. See, it's a first-person RPG, and you know, they do take a little bit of getting used to, but this one was kind of neat. You can easily select objects by pressing the C button on the Saturn controller. I'm just going to show you through here exactly how this works. Nothing too fancy. But I really like the sprite look of the game in relation to the 3D aspect as well, because the Saturn couldn't really do 3D too well. Now, just before I forget, blacksmiths are kind of original, because what you can do is you can find different materials, bring them to a blacksmith, and get a whole bunch of cool stuff created for you, which is actually kind of useful. So that's pretty well a little village, okay? You can go into any of these homes, well, ones that will allow you to. So let's get out of here, and I'll show you the world map quick. So here we have the world map. You can move in a variety of directions, but obviously you have to go through, in this case, I'm trying to make my way through a forest in order to get to some castle that I need to. As you can see, there's signs to help you along. I'm going to show you another little trick in just a second here. Let's just finish off these bad boys right here. As you can tell though, it looks pretty good, no? I find this holds up surprisingly well. Wait till you see some of the fighters and things like that. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 graphics, but still, I mean, this is pretty impressive for its time. I like the names too, classic. Now, if you're wondering what these little pixies are, they're just that. They're pixies. I'm going to try and activate one here once I get another random encounter. Okay, here we go. So you see, you can select different types of pixies, and they'll do different types of damage to different types of enemies. For example, the leprechauns, which you just saw, they don't typically, if I recall correctly, they don't actually attack flying objects, or flying enemies rather. So you have to just think of the area that you're in before you go all out crazy. And there's a lot of different environments and a lot of different enemies, a lot of different, well, just a lot of different everything. I guess you'd be sort of used to this by now, but as you progress further in the game, the enemies do repeat themselves. You just get like different color variations, or some of them have different powers. See, in this case, I'm trying to find, trying to go to the pond to get to a special castle that I need to get to. So let's move on to the, yeah, here we go. So you see, just take a look at, as I'm fighting, we're going to go through a couple of the other mechanics of the game. So the battle system, I can either fight, I have the choice of using magic, I can use items, and the only thing is, you have to think that this is an older game, it's an older RPG, so there are a few issues in terms of item placement and how the actual items work. The inventory system itself is a little messed up. For example, let's take Arthur here. Once his bag, if you want to call it that, is full, the items will automatically go to Rhodey and then automatically go to Melody, but that's pretty well it. And if I want to easily give an item to Rhodey and then equip it, I can't do that. I have to first select the item to give to Rhodey, and then get out of that, go into the equip options, and then have Rhodey equip the individual items. Like I said, I mean, it's a little old school in that regard. But one thing that I should mention that's pretty interesting is the fact that you can set up a lot of different commands. Here, let's take a quick look at them. So here, I can do magic. I'm going to heal one of my characters. And then we're just going to do a really quick summation of what you can and can't do. So you see, we have possessions. See, this is what I'm talking about. Use, give, discard, and equip. That is a little bit annoying. Now for tactics, you can customize. You have commands. So let's go into customize. Yeah, you see, you can even change the window color, the text speed, things like that. For commands, this is important because you can actually set the AI to control the entire game if you want, even your own character, even Arthur. I would not do that at all. What I liked with that was when you look at your statistics, unlike Dragon Quest or something like that, you don't need to visit a church. You can just go ahead right away and see what's what in terms of how much experience you need and what have you. So what you're seeing right now is a battle in an area where I really shouldn't be. This is typical of JRPGs. So essentially I am extremely underpowered compared to the enemies all around me. So I'm just going to show you just a quick one as I get my butt whooped, and that's the way we're going to end this off. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little direct feed footage from my Sega Saturn for Shining the Holy Ark. It really was a game that was ahead of its time, and just like the platform, it really was ahead of its time too. Unfortunately, there aren't too many RPGs on the Sega Saturn in general, so you know, we sort of had to pick and choose with whatever we had, and this is one that you really should not miss out on. It hasn't been ported, I don't think, anywhere else. I can't recommend it enough. It is a sensational RPG. Like I said before, it's a little bit old school and you have to, you know, take a few things for granted, but overall, if you own a Sega Saturn, this one is worth going out for. It's an incredible game. Thanks a lot for watching and enjoy the last 2 seconds of this video.